Welcome. My name is Melissa Miller, and it is my honor to serve as the 2021 president for the Kansas City Sister Cities Association. In the heart of Kansas City, Missouri, spanning Brush Creek on the Country Club Plaza, stands the Sister Cities International Bridge. Dedicated in 2000, the bridge is home to the national flags of Kansas City's 13 sister cities, from Seville, Spain since 1967 to Yan'an, China since 2017. 2021 marks the 65th anniversary of the Sister Cities program and offers a timely opportunity to explore the active business, cultural, and educational links that reinforce Kansas City's vibrant international identity. In that first year, 1956, President Eisenhower partnered with civic leaders such as Kansas City's own Joyce Hall to create people-to-people and sister city affiliations around the world to help build the solid structure for world peace. The Sister City Association of Kansas City coordinates relationships between Kansas City and its 13 sisters on 4 continents. Through its individual sister city committees, the association pursues its mission of promoting peace through mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation. With decades of educational, cultural, and commercial exchanges, the Sister Cities Association celebrates Kansas City's status as a global city. We invite you to get involved with the Sister Cities Association at kcsistercities.org. There, you can learn more about our individual sister city relationships, as well as upcoming events and how to join as a member. The Sister Cities Association of Kansas City is proud to partner with the International Relations Council in Kansas City to bring our community this virtual series of monthly conversations with representatives from Kansas City's sister cities to get to know these communities that bridge Kansas City with the world. Please enjoy and don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or your interest to get involved. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm Mike Wood, and I'd like to introduce you to the Xi'an, China, Kansas City Sister City relationship. A couple of quick facts before we begin. Xi'an is an ancient, historically significant city and the capital of Shaanxi Province in northwest China. At 8 million inhabitants, it is the 10th largest city in China and well known as a center for higher education and research. It is also the home of the Terracotta Warrior Museum and other cultural sites, but more on this later. The so-called twinning began officially nearly 35 years ago, but only after 15 or 16 years of hard work by some visionary Kansas Cityans and their Chinese counterparts in Beijing and Xi'an. On the Kansas City side, you really can't discuss the history of the relationship without mentioning 3 Kansas Cityans, Edgar Snow, Gray Diamond, and Bob Chen. Kansas City native Edgar Snow was the first Western journalist who went through a barricaded military line to interview Mao Zedong and other leaders in Bao'an, a place near Xi'an, in 1936. His book, Red Star Over China, gave an objective account of the Chinese Communist movement. It was widely read here and in China, where he is still revered. So connected to China was Edgar Snow that he named his daughter Xi'an. E. Gray Diamond was the founder of the innovative UMKC Med School in the early 70s, and he had a long-held interest in China. He visited China in September 1971, a year before President Nixon's visit in 1972. A trip arranged by his friend Edgar Snow. With over 40 trips to China facilitating medical and other relationships, Gray made connections with many influential officials in China, particularly Huang Hua, who eventually became foreign minister of China. Huang's son came to study at UMKC. And then there's our late dear friend Bob Chen, whose dynamism and enthusiasm inspired so many of us over the years. Every enduring sister city relationship needs a spark plug, and Bob was ours. Bob came to the US from China via Taiwan in the early 50s. He was a successful businessman, but the real passion of his life was encouraging positive relations between the US and China through the relationship with Xi'an. To say Bob was relentless is an understatement. His drive and personal magnetism made him friends with Mayors Wheeler, Berkeley, and Barnes. He was even welcomed into the home of the Chinese foreign minister. His counterpart, Sparkplug on the other side, was the committed internationalist An Wei. He's an extraordinary man who, growing up in poverty near Xi'an, rose to counsel the likes of Foreign Minister Huang and President Jimmy Carter. He's visited Kansas City several times, most recently in 2019, to solidify this vibrant example of what a sister city partnership really means. But let's hear from An Wei himself about the founding of the Kansas City Xi'an partnership.
In early 1980s, Wang Bingnan, president of the Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries, visited Kansas City. The mayor put forward a proposal to establish a friendly relations with Xi'an, but no reply came from Xi'an for some time. In May 1985, Vice Chairman Huang Hua visited UMKC, and the US side raised this issue again to him. In September of the same year, I told Huang Hua that I was going to Hartford to lecture for a year. He immediately decided to meet me before my departure for the USA. He assigned me two tasks. One was about Helen Snow, and the other was about Kansas City. He suggested that I should make a special trip to Kansas City to learn more and provide with first-hand information to Xi'an municipal government so as to persuade them to form a friendship relation with Kansas City as soon as possible. During the 1985 Christmas and New Year holidays, I paid a 10-day visit to UMKC and Kansas City and received a warm welcome. Mayor Richard Berkeley met me and awarded me the title of Honorary Citizen of Kansas City. After returning to China in September 1986, I reported in great detail to Zhang Xuexing, Secretary General of Xi'an Municipal Government and Director General of its Foreign Affairs Office. After many efforts, the leaders of the two cities held an official signing ceremony in Xi'an in May 1989.
The official agreement between the two cities was executed in 1989 upon signature by Mayor Dick Berkeley. Instrumental at that time were leaders of UMKC, the Chamber of Commerce, and other local international figures such as Elliot Berkeley and Jim Malouf. And there's a lot more to be said about this successful ongoing model of international understanding, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm the mayor of Kansas City in the United States, Quentin Lucas. Last year, we celebrated 30 years together as sister cities, and we've been so proud to have our connection with Xi'an. We know that we've dealt with quite a bit over the last several years, and particularly in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic and how our countries and our cities can recover. We know that we're going to come back stronger, and I hope to have the opportunity someday to visit all of you. In the meantime, stay safe. Know that we're out there for you, and know that you have people here in Kansas City, in the Midwest of the United States, looking out for your best interests and praying for you. All the best to the people of Xi'an, all the best to the people of Kansas City. God bless you all.
On behalf of the Chinese Consulate General in Chicago, I would like to extend warm congratulations on the 32 years of sisterhood between Xi'an City and Kansas City. Over the past 32 years, thanks to the joint efforts of both sides, the exchanges and cooperation between the two cities in the economic, cultural, and a wide range of other areas have grown and expanded, further deepening the friendship and mutual understanding between the two peoples. Many friends in Kansas City, fascinated with the unique charm of the ancient Chinese city of Xi'an, have developed a keen interest in the Chinese culture. To my knowledge, the annual Kansas City Dragon Boat Festival, an important cultural event of the city, has been very popular among the local communities. During the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, the people of the two cities have stood together in mutual support and assistance, which is a true embodiment of friendship in need between the Chinese and American peoples. Here, I would like to pay high respects to members of the Society for Friendship with China of Kansas City and the local Chinese community for their long-standing effort and contributions in enhancing mutual understanding between China and the US and promoting exchanges and cooperation at the subnational level. It has been more than 40 years since China and the United States established diplomatic ties. Over the years, bilateral relationship has kept moving forward against all odds, bringing real benefits to the people of the two countries and the world over. Now we are at a critical juncture in this relationship. I hope Xi'an and Kansas City will do more to further strengthen exchanges and cooperation and deepen friendship so as to bring more benefits to the two peoples and contribute to the sound and steady development of China-US relations. Thank you.
Today we met with a delegation from our sister city from Xi'an, China. It was led by the deputy mayor from Xi'an, China, and really it was just a great opportunity to sit down with a great group of folks who came here to both learn more about our city, about ways we can work together.
所以我这回来也代表西安的这个人民啊，邀请我们堪萨斯的，无论是政府的还是我们的这个各种团体啊，加强和西安的这个文化呀、旅游啊、经济啊各方面的合作。
To allow us to really just increase opportunities for citizens in both cities. I really wanted the folks from Xi'an to know that we in Kansas City care about our relationship with them, and to know that we are always open and welcoming to them and looking for ways that we can increase and enhance that relationship, whether that be through commerce, through education, through trade, through tourism. I also just think it's important that we keep nurturing this relationship, because if we don't invest in it, it's really an opportunity that we can't just let die. It's been around for 30 years, and we want to make sure it continues well into the future.
The annual Kansas City International Dragon Boat Festival has been a major summer event in Kansas City since 2005, the longest such event in the country. The Eyes of the Dragon open on the second Saturday of each June, with over 10 teams competing on Brush Creek in the plaza. Teams from local academic institutions, community organizations, and businesses race to the curve to try to win without tipping over. Just like canoeing on Missouri's Niagara River, dumping into the creek can happen. The annual Kansas City International Dragon Boat Festival has featured cultural performances, arts and crafts displays, food trucks, calligraphy demonstrations, martial arts demonstrations, children's activities, and of course, welcomed international visitors. Xi'an sent delegates to participate in many of the Dragon Boat festivals. government officials, citizen diplomats, puppeteers, musicians, and others to highlight the cultural heritage of Kansas City's sister city. The festival is a good opportunity for the larger Kansas City community to learn about Chinese tradition and culture, as well as our sister city, Xi'an. Over the years, it has received tremendous support from local communities, including businesses and civic organizations, and even visits by the Chinese Consul General in Chicago. The annual event has also raised funds for scholarships to Xi'an colleges and rural elementary schools, as well as supporting UMKC's Enactus program, training the next generation of international entrepreneurs. Although the 16th festival was canceled last year due to COVID-19, the Xi'an Sister City Committee partnered with the Society for the Friendship with China to make significant donations to the Salvation Army and KU Med Center to combat the pandemic. As the pandemic abates, the Xi'an Committee is hard at it, planning for the next event on the plaza. At the north end of the Sister Cities Bridge on the plaza are two bronze statues of soldiers from the army of the first emperor of the unified China, about 2,500 years ago. These generals provide further evidence that Kansas City deserves its rightful place on the world stage. An Wei relates an interesting story about this gift to Kansas City from our sister city, Xi'an.
After the twinning, the two cities increased exchanges, and each gave the other meaningful gift. Kansas City presented a friendship sculpture that was placed in Xi'an Xinqing Park. Xi'an gave Kansas City two terracotta warriors for people to enjoy. Later, KC citizens were surprised to find that the heads of the two warriors had been cut off. Robert Qian, then chairman of the Kansas City Xi'an Sister City Committee, was so angry that he decided to take urgent measures to keep the terracotta warriors standing in Kansas City forever. Bob Qian emailed me to ask Xi'an Cultural Relics Reproduction Plant whether they are copper terracotta warriors. If so, he would buy two bronze generals. I immediately contacted Mr. Han Pingzhe, a friend in Lingtun Craft Workshop. Mr. Han got everything done according to the requirements in 3 days, including careful selection of the warriors, safe packaging, shipping container, and a series of procedures. About 40 days later, two bronze generals arrived in Kansas City. Bob Qian was very satisfied and very excited to see these two bronze generals. When the bronze generals were set up, Bob Qian smiled and said, "We have these two generals, very powerful, very hard. Who dares to harm them again? And it is hard to harm."
Among the various and significant connections to Xi'an was the exhibit of Chinese peasant paintings and the visit to Kansas City of a leading painter of this style. The peasant painting school of art developed during the post-Revolutionary War period in China and centered in the rural areas surrounding Xi'an. As you can see, the paintings depict positive, cheery scenes in bright colors with lots of people, animals, and birds. Some paintings have even been made into postage stamps in China. Many Kansas Cityans were attracted to these paintings, unique to the area near Xi'an, and several of them bought examples from the display at halls on the plaza. Sharon Crain speaks eloquently about our relationship with Xi'an.
I'm Sharon Crain. and I had the privilege of serving as the first chairman of our sister cities. Our purpose was to develop friendship and understanding between the people of our two cities and our two countries. Our first event was a major exhibition where we brought over hundreds of peasant paintings which depicted everyday life. So this was a great opportunity for the American people to understand Chinese customs and Chinese culture and Chinese people. Later, along with Bob Xi'an as the second chairman, we also sent books to rural schools, developed libraries, sent books and desks to young children to show our support of young people there and education. Their young people came and shared their talents with those of us in Kansas City. I think the Chinese expression says it all of what the sister city relationship is all about. 我们是一家人, which means we are all one family. And I think that's the emphasis that we need to keep hold of today during these times.
But the peasant paintings exhibit was a good deal more than an art show. One of the notable peasant painters is Fan Shihua, who came to Kansas City with the exhibit and later returned for a year as an artist in residence and a teacher in an area school. Here he is at the Nelson Atkins Museum giving a demonstration of his craft and conducting an art class in a Kansas City area school where he stayed for a year. Certainly, international understanding, as Sharon said, is the goal of sister city relationships. Achieving that goal is much easier if quality of life in our respective cities is enhanced in the process. Building on the work of Dr. Diamond, Bob Chen, and An Wei, education has become an integral part of the relationship between our two cities. Many Kansas Cityans, like Joyce Cox and Linda Hanley, have taken advantage of this growth in teaching opportunities in China and Xi'an specifically. Among several others, Alan and Dana Perry of Kansas City taught for a year in a small city near Xi'an and elsewhere in China on other occasions. Kansas City's philanthropic spirit has come into play through this partnership. Many individuals from this area contributed to schools in the province surrounding Xi'an by supporting education infrastructure and providing scholarships. Some years ago, the Xi'an Sister City Committee collaborated with the Society for Friendship with China to purchase 1,000 books to start a library in Hanjiaping Elementary School. However, the school didn't have a place to house the books, so several Kansas Cityans, notably James Lloyd, provided funding to build the library in 2000. In 2002, Sharon Crain, Bob and Teresa Chen, and An Wei participated in the dedication of the James Lloyd Library and Learning Center. Local folks here also contributed to purchase tables, chairs, and bookcases for the library with matching funds from the Far Eastern Asian Studies program at the University of Kansas. Building on Bob Chen's initiative, One Child, One Desk, 400 sets of desks and chairs were purchased by individuals for Armstrong Elementary. Additionally, the Xi'an Committee, with assistance from other local nonprofits, established several scholarships at universities in Xi'an and rural elementary schools outside of Xi'an. Here is Jan Armstrong to provide a bit more detail about this effort.
Bob and Teresa Chen set up the Beverly Chen Graham Scholarship in 3 rural elementary schools in Shaanxi Normal University to honor their daughter in 2004. It began to support 5 students in each of the 3 elementary schools to pay their school fees, and then it increased to 10 students in each school in 2009. Bob Chen asked me and Jim Hill to bring scholarship money to Xi'an in April of 2010. I visited 2 of these schools on our trip, Yukou Elementary and Armstrong Elementary. At Armstrong, we got to see the desks that Kansas City people and others from Minnesota had supplied. And they had been designed so that they grew with the child. The child started with one desk, and as he moved through the different grades, that desk went with him. And each desk had the name of its donor on it. In one of the schools, I even gave an English lesson. At least that's what I tried to do.
Additionally, when Bob Chen and the committee learned of the funding needs at Yukou Elementary in 2002, Kansas City's generosity kicked in once again to provide funding for internet access and other enhancements at the school. But this is a two-way partnership. Educational opportunities opened up in the Kansas City area too. UMKC has been a notable beneficiary of this opening, beginning at the School of Medicine over 40 years ago. Today, the university attracts students to several disciplines from all over China, with 6 agreements with university counterparts in Xi'an alone. In 2019, 30 students from Xi'an studied computer science and engineering at UMKC. But let's end this section by hearing from 2 students who benefited from the Sister City partnership. Please meet Wang Li Hong from Xi'an and Mulan Zhang from Kansas City.
My name is Wang Li Hong. I received a scholarship in 2009 when I was going to Shaanxi Normal University. My parents were not able to work due to their health problems. I have settled in Xi'an since I graduated in 2012. I'm now currently working in marketing and distribution for a children's book publisher. I'm married and we had our twins, a boy and a girl, 3 years ago. They are very cute. The scholarship not only provided me with financial help in a difficult situation at that time, but also encouraged me to be brave in the face of difficulties and challenges.
My family has pretty close ties to Xi'an because my dad is originally from that city and my grandparents and extended family still live there. But I think one of the most memorable experiences I had during high school was visiting Xi'an not just on a family trip, but as a part of the Kansas City Chinese American Association's Youth Hope Fund. The Youth Hope Fund is a student-run nonprofit organization, and one of the major activities we do is going back to China every summer to teach English in elementary and middle schools. The summer of 2018, I was a trip leader for the program, and we actually spent a week in Xi'an before continuing on to teach English. And while we were there, we got to experience a lot of the Chinese culture by visiting various historical sites, really being able to better understand Chinese culture and my heritage and connection to the area. Of course, the trip itself was very meaningful, where we went after our week in Xi'an. I was and still am very humbled by the students' open-mindedness and generosity and their willingness to share their stories, their culture, their homes with us. And although I noticed many differences between Chinese and American culture, I really found through the experience that our shared values of curiosity, tenacity, a passion for education, and a love for our respective communities were much stronger than any cultural differences that may separate us. I'm incredibly grateful for having had this opportunity to learn more about my heritage and grown in character as a result, and I'm very excited to see how the Sister City friendship between Kansas City and Xi'an continues to evolve and connect our cultures.
When I had the privilege of being mayor in Kansas City from 1999 to 2007, one of the aspects of being mayor I enjoyed the most was the involvement with sister cities. So often I had the opportunity to be involved with sister cities, either individual cities that were our partners around the world, or with gatherings that involved all of the sister cities. Those were wonderful events. I remember that Bob Chen was such an active leader of that group, and he would reach out to me with such enthusiasm about coming to one or more events. I would make every effort to do so. I was always so impressed by his effervescent personality and how he was such a wonderful bridge himself.
The goal of a Sister City program is to involve individual citizen diplomats in creating an environment for global cooperation. This can be done, according to President Eisenhower, by exploring other cultures and traditions. We think the Kansas City Xi'an Sister City Committee has been pretty successful, like our friends in other Sister City committees, in helping to achieve this objective. Our work has drawn outside recognition. Sister Cities International awarded the committee its Innovation in Education Award for its work with Xi'an schools. And in 2014, it was recognized once again with another international award for its long-term work in arts and cultural programming. As we close, please enjoy the symbolism of this statue, the Bridge of Peace, donated to Kansas City by our sister city, Xi'an. It's a duplicate of a statue in Xi'an. We feel we help put Kansas City on display as a welcoming city and one engaged in the wider world. We invite you to join us. In the meantime, mark your calendar for the 17th Dragon Boat Festival on the plaza in June of 2022. Thanks for watching.